Hey family, it's Tasha MAMABEAR Prepping. You already know what time it is. Get your drink, pull up, let's talk about it. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. For those of you that have been here before, you kind of know what this is about. But for those of you that are new, we just talk about emergency preparedness. We talk about different things that could happen to you and your family and how you can prepare for them to be ahead of them. So let's get into it today. I just want to talk real light about victory gardens. Been thinking about expanding gardens. It's garden season, even though the weather is totally wonky, and that is something that we have to kind of learn to get around, to work around. But it's definitely time, right? It's been time. People are planting all over. Some people are waiting, depending on where they live, still to plant stuff. But it is the time for growing. And I wanted to just touch on this one more time. We've talked about this a few times, the importance of a garden. But the importance of having what's called a victory garden. They had these victory gardens back in the day when during war times, during times of strife, different times of collapse and just inflation and depression times, and just different times of our economic, history, if you will, where the importance of having your own garden to supplement your family, feed your family, was important, because there wasn't a lot of food, or people couldn't afford the food, or it was difficult to get it, or it was rationed. Whatever the case may be, the importance of having you're responsible for your own type of victory garden. And this looked different for different people. In today's world, this would look like windowsill gardens in your, little herb gardens in your kitchen. This looks like patio and balcony gardens. This looks like little side outdoor patio gardens. This looks like, grand, scheme type gardens. Whatever you have. This could be acres of food, depending on what type of land you have, what your situation is. And what I want to stress the most is, no matter what your situation is, you can have some sort of victory garden. Even if you have, and you're only able to do something indoors, right? You're only able to have maybe one little growing shelf, and you're like, okay, well, I could grow seedlings, but I don't really have a spot to take them outside and plant them. So like, what am I doing here? But there's a lot of stuff you could do. You could do lettuces. A lot of lettuces don't take very long at all to grow. Even better, microgreens you could grow. Those literally grow in like 7 to 8 days, you guys. And you could have trays of that and have supplemental, very high, almost 10 times the nutritional value in a microgreen than the actual vegetable that you could be, producing in as little as 7 to 8 days inside your apartment, inside your home, whatever it is, inside of a room with some grow lights. And when we say grow lights, you need full spectrum if possible. But honestly, baby, any kind of lights are going to do. LED lights work. I've used them. They work. If you set them up enough, you have to have enough of them. Your plants have to have that light on there, okay? But amazing, okay? So it doesn't matter what you have. You have to be thinking, though, how could you supplement? Things get tough. What happens if we go to war and there's rations, and a lot of that food, one, we have to worry about the food and how much we actually have already because of situations that have happened over the last year. Distribution plants burning down, to all types of food system problems happening, train derailments. I mean, you name it. Weather events that have wiped out crops, droughts, not enough water. And so you take that and then you couple it with, okay, we just go to war now with these with these countries that we were getting stuff from. And so now all of a sudden you find a country and we're now rationing, right? We are now putting out the thing, hey, grow food. That's important to do that yourself, because you want to take care of yourself. And because the system is broke, the system is going to be heavily stressed. And where do you think the majority of the food, or the priority of the food, is going to go? If we're in the middle of the war, priority of food is going to go to our soldiers, our military, our police, our nurses, whatever. Depends on how bad this gets, depends on how many fronts we're fighting, depends on if it's a physical war, a proxy war, war of just attacking our grid and stuff. Like, what is exactly that we're having to deal with in this war in a physical capacity every single day, right? But that garden could mean everything. That supplemental, those little bit of greens, those little bit of, I don't care if you just grow this is what I want you to do. I want you to think about your situation, where are you at currently, and what does that garden look like for you? That's different for everybody. You know, I had a garden in California on the patio, and I didn't care what neighbors thought. I had plants all over that, and I just tried to make it just this oasis. And I didn't know anything about gardening at the time, right? I had started seedlings. Some of those seedlings took outside. I did a little bit of direct sowing. I didn't do any kind of big transplants. Like, I didn't go to a store and buy anything and bring it back and plant it, outside of like nice plants, like house plants, right? You know, and I was successful enough. Was there definitely crops that did not make it? Absolutely. Some stuff just did not make it, didn't really know what I was doing 100%, and they just didn't do well. But some stuff did amazing, but then I ran into problems, you know, issues, whatever. But it was a big learning curve, and it was fun though. It was enjoyable. And I think about, even in that moment, that stuff, that little bit of food I was growing at the time, would have supplemented, was stuff I didn't have to buy. Now I think of it, you know, we moved here, we do, you know, I learned that direct sowing works very, very well here. I started doing transplants as well. And my goal now is to get away from the transplants that you buy from stores and do all direct sowing. Seedlings, haven't been very successful with seedlings, but we'll see. And that's only because of weather problems, right? They have to be super, super strong before I put them outside, because we have a lot of wind here, and we have a lot of just weather events that aren't on the weather, like hail. We have hail quite a bit, and if your seedlings are too small, whatever, they're not strong enough, they just get wiped out. And that's what happened to me last year, 2 times in a row. And it literally took me 3 times of planting stuff to get stuff going last year. But when I did, it was great. And direct sowing, I learned, worked very well for my area. So you want to do the research. See what zone. Just Google right now. See what zone you're in, growing zone you're in, where you live, what things grow where you live. Get the things that you eat that you want to do. You could start with 1 crop if that's what it is. You need to concentrate on, okay, we're going to eat tomatoes. I like tomatoes. I'm going to grow tomatoes, and figure out and learn everything you can about tomatoes, when to plant them, when they'll harvest, how long it's going to take, what do they need, and start with that, and then move on to the next crop, and then move on to the next crop that you're going to eat, right? And you just build from there. And then every year you should be building. Let's say for those of you that already have a garden, been gardening, you know the game, baby, is you add to that. Every year try to add to that. It's not even necessarily adding space, but adding the quality and quantity that you're getting, right? What are you getting from this garden? Maybe it's going up vertically, maybe it's setting up trellises, maybe it's doing different plants that produce more, maybe it's moving the plants to different locations and growing stuff in different locations, and you need a better spot for something. Always increase what you're doing and make it better the next year, and increase the harvest if you can, right? If that's adding a plot, adding something, you've got land and you're able to add something, then do that. You know, I had my girlfriend the other day, went over to her house, helped her set up her whole garden, just a little patio garden, got everything started, and it was beautiful. And when we were out getting her some starter plants, I picked up some corn. I seen some beautiful corn starts already started. I was like, these are beautiful. I'm going to grab them for myself. And she looked at me, and I have half an acre here, and she looked at me like, where are you planting that? What are you doing? And in my mind, I was thinking, I have all types of land, right? I have all types of spaces, but we are conditioned to not understand, or to think that we can't do it. We don't have the space to do it. It doesn't make sense. In our heads, what do you think of? You think of corn, you think of long rows, you think of fields and fields and fields, like in Superman, right? Fields and fields of corn, right? And you don't have space for that. But in reality, you don't need that big of a space or plot. Can you grow corn on a patio? Yeah, you probably get a couple ears of corn growing right in a corner that gets, if the conditions are right, but you're not growing tons and tons, right? And then how many ears of corn are you getting on each of those you know, corn stalks, right? So yes, there's that aspect. But if you've got any kind of land, I absolutely have land and space where I could tear up some grass and put down a 20 by 20 and do a couple rows of corn. I told her, I'm actually doing it in containers, right? I have this, I'm going to get some containers and I'm going to have them in a row. I'm putting them in this new spot, different from last year. I actually did corn last year just for really shits and giggles to see if it would grow, if it even worked. But I was extremely late in planting it. That was my first mistake. The containers, actually, it did well, and then I want to pick a better spot for it to get maximized sun. So it got sun where it was at, but I think I can find a better spot for it. So I'm super excited this year for corn, and I'm not doing a lot. I only got I think it's about a row of corn. So I think each container has 3 or 4 plants in it. So it's going to be a row of, I don't know, 8 to 10, depending on how many are in the pot. I can't remember. In a row of containers. And I'm super excited because I'm excited to see how big they'll grow, how well I can grow them. This year, actually harvesting them, the couple that I grew last year, I didn't even harvest them. I just let them bolt, just let them do their thing. And so it's a learning process. Nobody knows everything, right? And so you're going to continue to learn, but it's fun, it's exciting, and it's important for survival, okay? Start small. Say you're going to just plant all the things you need for a salsa. Do you have a blender? You can make salsa. And just plant the things. Plant some tomatillos, plant some tomatoes, plant some serranos, some different peppers, whatever it is that you would like in your salsa, right? Plant you some cilantro, right? Get the things that you need for salsa, and plant all those things. Plant an herb garden, plant some lettuces, plant whatever it is that you're able to do in your situation. But that victory garden could be the difference and game changer for you and your family. You know, if you have no food and you're having to go out and get rations and depend on somebody, that's not what we're about on this channel. That's not where you want to be. You want to stockpile it now so that you have things, okay? And then you want to supplement with what's in your garden as a fresh green, fresh fruits, vegetables, whatever, right? And get that stuff. If you have property at all, okay, you own the house, even if it's a suburban house, if you own the property, you need to plant all the fruit trees that you can plant that do well in your area. Whatever does good in your area, go right now and get it from the nursery, buy it, plant it. And buy as mature as you can, because fruit trees take 5 to 7 years before when you first plant them and they mature where they're making fruit. However, depending on how mature of a tree you get and buy, you could see fruit much sooner. But extremely important that if you are where you're at, get that. Now, if you're renting, let's say you have a house or you have a nice patio or you have some space and you plan to take it with you, you could buy a tree now, plant it in a humongous pot that you plan to then move with you to take wherever you're going to move. Like when you move, you would take this plant and this tree. But you've got to get those started because they take a very long time, okay? But again, down the road, when we talk about crisis, we talk about class, we talk about bad times, that fruit could be, game changer, okay? Think about the future. And it takes effort. It takes time. A lot of people are like, I'm not a green thumb. I can't grow stuff. Or they have zero inkling to grow. They're just like, it's not my thing. I'm not into it. But it literally is something that people are going to regret that they did not give a try, did not try to do. For me this year, growing as a gardener, it's going to be to collect seeds. I've never done that. I've never taken something. I have high quality seeds, heirloom seeds, non-GMO seeds, great seeds. I have the link down in the description box below. Great packets, great seeds, great price. And make sure you use the Mama Bear code so that you can get a discount as well on certain packs. But they're amazing. And so this year, I'm going to be collecting my seeds, right? I'm going to make a conscious decision to collect seeds, to let certain things bolt so that I can get to the seeds and start collecting my seeds, right? One, to learn the process, to see how many I can get, because one day it's just like all the other things. What happens when you can't buy seeds one day? You can't buy seeds. You're going to either be getting them yourself so that you can continue the cycle. Remember, it's about self-sufficiency. So the seeds are important. If you teach yourself how to collect those seeds and then plant them, germinate them, and then you have a full cycle thing with your plants, and you're not having to even introduce packet seeds anymore. You want to stockpile packet seeds though, like crazy. Do that. But you need to learn how to get those seeds yourself. Because it's just like anything else. The only other way you're going to get seeds is by trading, getting seeds from neighbors who are seed collecting, or, you know, buying fruit from a neighbor, getting fruit from a neighbor, getting those vegetables that you know have seeds. Hey, can I get a zucchini? I'm going to collect the seeds, whatever. That type of thing. And bartering. Hey, I would like to get this stuff so I can, because I'm going to be collecting seeds. So it's more than, oh yeah, we'll eat the zucchini, but it's also, I really want to keep the seeds this year. And so you just need to be conscious of that. I mean, you could start doing that now. You could do that with store-bought, but I wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend that you do that with a high quality heirloom seed, so that you have the best chance possible. If you're going to put the effort in to having the best results possible. Okay. But I almost keep trying to say Victoria. A victory garden is super important. And I hope that this video, us discussing it today, helps you just think about it, especially if you haven't gotten started. And if you have a garden of any kind, how do you take that and grow upon it and make it better? Another thing is, this last year that I started was the indoor garden, and some stuff was not successful, but some stuff was very successful. I actually took clippings from that indoor garden to my girlfriend's house when we were doing stuff. I'm actually taking clippings and different stuff from my pepper plants and everything I started indoors that I'm actually going to put in my personal outdoor garden this year. So what I found was there were certain things that I grew that I was like, I won't grow this again in this capacity in this indoor garden. Then I'm changing the game and going to be doing more microgreens, more lettuces. I have herbs going. I'll keep those as a regular thing. And then I'll start and take clippings. I'll start nice big plants of something, and then I'll take clippings, you know, break up the dirt, take a chunk out that has a root system already, and plant that outside. And so that's what I did. Like, all my peppers came from my indoor garden this year. I didn't buy any pepper plants. I'm not direct sowing. I grew in my indoor garden jalapenos, serranos, habaneros. The only thing that I didn't do that I regret not putting in that bunch is cayenne. Now, I had a cayenne. I also overwintered some peppers from last year. Wintered, put them in the garage. I'll be bringing those out. Let's see if they'll just come back. So I have those that were overwintered that I'll do, and then I have these ones that I grew in the indoor garden, and I've already taken the clippings off. I already retransplanted the clippings like a month ago, so they've all been in kind of their own eco, pot. And then those will all go outside in the garden, and they're all gonna make it because they're super strong, super healthy. They can, will be able to withstand weather. And so I'm super excited to see both situations now, overwintering and how that worked out, and then also these clippings from my indoor garden. And so the idea is not to just grow these peppers, but I do have the original peppers in the pot still growing. I have jalapenos actually growing off of the main plant in my indoor garden. So we'll see how it works out. I started a beautiful heirloom tomato. Just transplanted that, but started that in the indoor. Thought I was going to grow tomatoes indoors. Realized, no, that's not something I'm trying to grow indoors. However, starting it indoors in a nice big pot allowed it to get super strong. And then I transplanted that yesterday. So super excited about that. Super excited to get the seeds from that. I bought some from a nursery, some chocolate sprinkles, which are little tiny chocolate tomatoes. And so I'm excited to get the seeds from those. So this year it's all about the seeds, buying those unique things and planting them, of course, to harvest them, but really thinking the process of, I want seeds of certain varieties. Okay, so super excited. I hope you guys get started. Remember, it doesn't matter where you're at. You can do this. You can do this with just shelving in an apartment. You can do this on just a dresser in an apartment. I mean, you don't need much space at all. You could do this with just your patio and just start. I don't care if you have to buy plants that are already, go to that nursery and go get that tomato plant, girl, that's already started. Get you a beautiful pot, beautiful trellis. Either do a trellis yourself with some bamboo, or go ahead and get the tomato one, whatever. Go on Pinterest though, find some cool bamboo trellis that you can put together. They're very, very easy. Put it up. Put it in the corner of your patio where there's nice sun, watered every day. Watch it start to grow. That one action is going to motivate you to do more. Okay, what's the next thing I want to grow, right? And even if you only had that one plant and you just loved on it, you learned on it, you Googled about it, you learned all the things about it, you planted some nice, beautiful Thai basil, green with purples, right? And the bottom of it, underneath it, just beautiful. Got these beautiful heirloom tomatoes growing with this beautiful Thai basil at the bottom of it. And just make it beautiful. Really love it, because this is something that takes love, right? But you can do this. You can do this, and it's amazing, and it's so much gratification and validation, and you're going to use it later, okay? So think about how you start this. If you haven't started this yet, do a little bit of research, and then just do it. Just start, okay? So I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys had a great weekend. And if you didn't see on Saturday, I posted, I'm not going to be doing videos on the weekends anymore. I'm only going to do videos on YouTube right now, Monday through Friday. And so weekends, we're extremely busy trying to do all this stuff with the house and just different stuff we're doing right now. And so I need the time. I'm not Superwoman. I can't do it. Okay. So with that said, no more videos on Saturdays, which means the entire weekend, no videos. And we'll go from there. Love and light, be kind, be well, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care. Bye.